Hello there. So I just wanted to put together a quick video, mainly for the people in the Dark Magician Discord, to explain why I have been yapping about this card in particular, and why, in my opinion, the best card in the Dark Magician archetype is actually Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Now, before you get your pitchforks out, she's a Dark level 7 spellcaster, 2500 attack. She's basically Dark Magician Woman at this point. So I just want to show you a little bit about why I think this card in particular is going to be so good for the engine moving forwards. Much more than just, oh, she can make a Dragoon. She can, but it can do a lot more than that. Let me show you real quick. So, Elemental Hero Neos is here as a generic discard. Black Goat's here because Dark Magician and all the related archetypes, they all ask you to send cards to the graveyard. So Black Goat for me is it's a no-brainer at 3. Wanted, we're going to run 3 Wanted, 3 Witch. Doesn't really matter if you open Wanted or you open Witch. I'll explain why in a moment. So we're going to start with Wanted, which gets us the Witch. Summon the Witch, pitching Neos. Could be literally anything, like I said. And what that's going to get for us is Deception of the Sinful Spoils, face down. Now, when we activate it, this isn't when it triggers the picture card element of the card. You have to flip it over, and then you have to activate its effect. The reason that's so important is because if we open Witch rather than Wanted, we've still satisfied Demon's requirement for a spell card being activated, which is pretty cool. So now we'll banish Diabellstar, and that will get us our copy of Demod. I've got OCG versions rather than Praxis. On summon trigger effect to search Rod. Summon Rod. On summon trigger effect to search Gaze. All looking fairly standard for now. Where it starts to get interesting is Deception. Pitch Demod for cost. Chain Gaze. It's chain link 2. Puts it back into the extra deck. Pops out a Dragoon in under 5 summons. It can't be targeted either, so even if they got Nibiru and Imperm, because that's a scary one, right? Nibiru plus Imperm, doesn't matter anymore because he can't be targeted. Now, chain link 1 will resolve, getting us a copy of Hallowed Azamina. Now, if you're not very familiar with Azamina, White Forest, etc., you'd be forgiven at this point for thinking it's Hallowed Azamina, send Deception to get Ilia Sylvia. We're not doing that yet. We're going to do things just in a slightly different order in order to maximise the value of what we're trying to do here. So this sends this, and we're actually going to summon Murasil Yago, because we don't need Sylvia yet, because we can't be Nibiru'd. On summon trigger effect, it's going to search Sinful Spoils of Slumber Morian. Not a mouthful at all, rolled right off the tongue. The reason we get this is because, you'll see in a second. Now what we do is we go Rod plus Rasiliago as link 2. You could go Cross Sheep, you could go Necromancer, but we're going to go IP. Put it over here, slightly less glare, there we go. Now, what a lot of people might not know, if they're not familiar with the archetype, is Hallowed Azamina isn't once per turn. It's once per turn to bounce it back to your hand, so we'll do that now. Put in Rasiliago back in the deck. But it's not once per turn to summon, so we're going to activate it again. Revealing Sinful Spoils for Slumber Morian. And now we put out the Ilia Sylvia. Because we control a level 5 or higher illusion monster, we get to reset this. And this is if you don't know the card, it's a Book of Moon on any special summoned monster, which is actually quite relevant in the meta in the minute, right? There's a lot of Xyz decks, Lynx decks, Yummy, K9 in particular, Vanquish Soul. They require cards to be face up, so yeah, pretty important interaction. We've sequenced things slightly differently, because you could have gone straight into this from the original Hallowed, but we've done it this way round. We get better follow-up, and we get that one extra piece of interaction. Now what's really important here is that we've got 3 spells in the graveyard, because I do like to go into Selene if I can. So if you had more spells in the graveyard, or you really needed that additional card for Dragoon, you could banish to put this back to the bottom of your deck, get yourself a draw. But instead, what we're going to do is, when we pass turn, because this was sent while face up on the field, it will reset itself. So that's for follow-up, right? We've still got 3 spells in graveyard for Selene, which is a bit of a spoiler alert. We pass turn, right? So it goes to the turn, we Book of Moon something, it then banishes itself after leaving the field. We tribute itself as cost to omni-negate. We omni-negate, pitch in Black Goat as cost. Let's just imagine we pitch Black Goat as cost. Banish Black Goat from the graveyard. Additional interaction, right? That's why we're running 3. IP and Dragoon to make Selene. You could go IP into SP here if the situation calls for it. I do like IP into Selene though, because then we're getting around the fact that Dragoon wasn't going to last. So Dragoon comes back. And we're going to negate again, because he's now a fresh copy of Dragoon. And so from 1 card, we've got 3 omni-negates, the Book of Moon, which is you know, it's a lot of interactions, right? And the idea is, what we're trying to do here is, it's not loads of interactions, but it's enough interactions and the types of interactions to enforce a simplified game state. Because now when they pass back to us, we draw for turn, and let's just imagine we draw something that's not going to do anything for us on its own. So we draw for turn. We're going to put Hallowed Azamina back into hand by putting Sylvia to the top of the deck. We'll activate Deception, which now satisfies Demod. Banish Dragoon for Demod trigger effect. Second Gaze of Timaeus. You don't actually have to do that. I'm just showing you what's possible, right? Again, from 1 card. Now we're going to Hallowed Azamina, send in Deception. We will go into Rosiliago. On summon trigger effect to grab an Azamina card, which will be Elzet Azamina of the White Forest. If you don't know what it does, it can special summon itself from hand. And when it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you get yourself a Sinful Spoils spell or trap. So it special summons itself. And we go Synchro 10 for a Light and Dark Chaos Angel. Why not? Chainlink 1, Chaos Angel Banish, Chainlink 2. The Search for Elzet Azamina. Get ourselves a copy of Wanted. So we've now got even further follow-up all over again. And then we're going to activate Gaze of Timaeus back into the deck, into the extra deck, to bring out another Dragoon. Why not? And then we're going to link for access code Talker. Targeting Selene, which is a link 3. It's now got 5,300 attack. And we're going to banish Selene. We're going to banish IP. So we've already had a banish from Chaos Angel. We're now getting an additional 2 pops. Now bear in mind, we had 3 omni-negates and a Book of Moon during their turn. So we've managed to successfully enforce a simplified game state. It's coming back to us just with what we already had, right? Because we drew Dark Magician for turn. I love the guy, but he don't do much on his own. So just with what we already had, we've managed to set up a further omni-negate, a banish, 2 pops. And if you look at the damage we've got here on field, so that's 5,300, that's 8,300 already, plus an additional 3,500 from a Light and Dark Chaos Angel. So even if by some miracle they survive this turn, they've got an omni-negate to worry about, a Light and Dark Chaos Angel to worry about. Not to mention the fact we haven't even used Wanted yet, right? We could just carry on. We don't need to. They're already done. They're dead. It's over. So I just wanted to show why, in my view, you know, Azamina Dark Magician, Diabellstar Dark Magician, whatever you want to call it, is really strong, basically. What I haven't showed you here is what happens when the new DM card comes out. This is all based on post-Maze once we've got DMod, because that's the format we're going to be in for quite a while, in my mind. It's just a guess, but I don't think we're getting the Pharaoh card anytime soon. When we do, though, you can still do all of this, except when you summon DMod, you summon the Pharaoh, and then you just start doing Pharaoh stuff on top of all of this anyway. So it's not even like this becomes redundant. It just becomes, you do this and then get an extension on top of it. And all of this was just from, you know, one card. When you start getting into the realm of, oh, I drew Diabellstar and I also drew this, you can just start doing absolutely bonkers stuff. But what I wanted to show you was just Diabellstar, or wanted on its own with a, you know, generic discard. What that can do, what that gets you, what kind of follow-up it generates as well, what it can do for you on the crackback. And yeah, that's probably enough. Hopefully I've managed to get through this without like sniffling too much. I'm actually full of a cold. Trying my best to hide it. Hopefully it's not been picked up on the mic. Thanks for watching.